Yeah, totally.
It's really hard to take that time to stop and like appreciate anything. I want to learn how to do that. Maybe I should try to meditate like you.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
I should
yeah.
try to learn to meditate once a week like you.
Once a week ain't bad. I mean, the more you meditate, the less like all the hangups about it start falling away. Even if it is sporadic, it takes your relationship with it goes from being another thing you use to make yourself feel bad to something a little lighter than that. Like meditation should not be, you shouldn't add that to the list of things you didn't do. It's your friend. So it's just something that's there for you, not something to whip your back with. There's plenty of other things that you're not doing that you should feel bad about, not meditation.
Do you think anyone doesn't whip their back?
Yeah, totally. You could stop. You actually don't have to keep whipping your back. It's so great. It's so exciting about life is that if you don't want to keep like, if you're, your belt is growing thin or your arm is sore or your back is just the calluses or you can't even feel it anymore, you could actually just stop doing it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Have you?
Oh, no, I still give myself a firm lashing here and there, but definitely, much less than I used to. It's yeah. I have, I only whip myself like in the mornings before. But but it's if I do give myself a lashing, it's a lot softer than it used to be, and I don't know if that's
nice.
part of getting old. Maybe your arm's weaker, so you can't quite get the like snap in that you used to. But I think it's a. I think it's a possibility that you don't have to always like do that as much. What about you? Are you still whipping your back?
Oh yeah, all the time. Every time I look in the mirror, every time I do a press thing, it's like it's very hard to not do that. I mean, I also, I don't do it constantly, but it definitely is in the loop of what my brain does naturally, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a habit. It's just a habit. It's like any other habit, no big deal. Habits can seem so intense and like, oh my God, that's who I am. But yeah, it's just a habit. People are just habituated to like, they internalized one parent or the other usually. And then that, whatever that little pattern is, just repeats every single day like it used to when you're a kid. It's just part of the thing. But yeah, it's just a habit. It's like no different from any other addiction. You
Our
ask
kids
me.
don't do it.
Exactly. I mean, that's what's so great about having kids is you're like watching a being that has yet to internalize whatever neurotic patterns they're going to like pick up from you. So it's like, it's cool to see the blank slate and like what that looks like. It's wonderful.
I know.
And you have written a lovely book about parenting and being a new parent. And
Well, it's funny because on this book tour, I was going to tell you, I keep quoting your mom.
Wow.
Because the story of my, you kind of have your thing that you're saying in all the press. And, one of the things I remember is like your mom saying, it's the most, it's that you love this thing so much. It's like you are cracked open, and it's just this like amazing love. And so as I quote her, I say that, but then people would always say, and it wasn't just your mom, but I remember your mom had a very specific thing, that I just said. But
yeah,
what people don't tell you is that you could almost as easily replace love with fear. At least for me as a mom, like you will never, when they say you'll never know the kind of love that you get from a kid, like you could replace that with fear. And it really is true because I was someone who just had like so much joie de vivre, and I would just go to go to Paris, go to Africa, last minute. You guys want to come to Thailand for some stage time and free shrimp and, oh,
Yeah.
hey, whitewater rafting with no helmet. I would just do
Yeah.
anything. I was down for it all. And now, all of a sudden I'm not like that anymore. And,
Yeah.
this book is like a lot of me examining, like, who is the pre-motherhood Natasha? How can I get back to her? But then, you think about it, because I wrote this book for many years, for 3 years, because there was the pandemic and then there was a paper
Yeah.
shortage. And there was just like a lot of things that kind of slowed it down. But I started to realize, like, we don't have kids to stay the same. And maybe it's not about
Mm.
getting back to your pre-motherhood days. It's how do you integrate it? And especially
Yeah.
people like me and you who are having kids later in life, when our lives are more fully formed and these kids are joining our fully made lives. So
Right.